Discover the miraculous shift, 3 divine revelations that supernaturally transform your life. In the tiny village of Ashford, a seismic shift happened one fateful afternoon. Mothers whispered with hushed tones, and children paused their play. The air buzzed with anticipation. Mary, a devoted single mother, stood at the heart of it all, her son Liam battling an illness that seemed impossibly cruel. As the sun began to set, casting golden light onto the chapel as stained glass, a sense of urgency filled the air, electrifying hearts with the weight of unshakable faith. Underneath the sacred arches, the congregation seemed suspended between hope and despair. Mary clutched her rosary, the beads warm and familiar against her trembling fingers. The stories of saints she had grown up believing in danced through her mind, tales of miraculous healings that felt almost too wondrous to be true. That day, as Liam's condition hovered like a dark cloud, she longed for one of those miracles to envelop them, to make the impossible real. As the village gathered for prayer, the elderly priest Barnaby approached Mary, his gaze piercing with an ancient wisdom. "My child, sometimes divine revelation comes like a soft whisper, hidden in the tumult of earthly trials," he said, voice steady. He implored her to hold fast to her faith, assuring her of a plan greater than any pain they faced. Each word felt like a soft candle flickering in the night, igniting a small flame within her heart. But even as whispers of divine plans surrounded her, doubt crept in like a chilly fog. "Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In the days that followed, the rhythm of prayer circles grew stronger around Mary. Villagers would gather, their faces etched with concern but uplifted by collective hope. Their voices curled into the twilight, a symphony of supplication rising to the heavens. Yet, with every failed treatment and every medical appointment, the weight of disappointment settled upon her like lead. The isolation of her pain became palpable, a shroud that seemed to wrap tighter around her heart even as the community offered love. Yet, beneath the despair, unexpected moments of grace began to emerge. One evening, as the village prayed, a flicker of light spilled through the chapel, illuminating a figure kneeling in fervent prayer. In that moment, something remarkable happened. Liam, drawn by an unseen force, stood and took his first steps, his giggles ringing like joyous bells through the air. The congregation gasped, tears flowed freely, and a chorus of praises took flight. Hope surged, electric and undeniable. As the church bells tolled in celebration, the miracles unfolded, but the question remained etched in Mary's soul: why did divine intervention come now? She watched in awe as her neighbors glowed with newfound faith, yet her heart pounded with Jenga-like uncertainty. The divine mysteries that had once felt comforting now left her shrouded in more questions than ever before. Was this healing a mere act, or was it evidence of something deeper? As she ventured deeper into the fragile territory of faith, Mary realized her journey was just beginning, a path surrounded by questions, leading her to uncover truths she had yet to unveil. What awaited her in this brave new world of miracles and meaning? The next morning dawned with a brilliance that seemed to echo the miraculous events of the previous night. The sun spilled into the village, enveloping Ashford in a golden embrace, revealing the beauty of ordinary life anew. Yet for Mary, peace was elusive. The night's miracle wrapped around her like a warm blanket, yet within, a storm raged. She looked upon Liam as he played in the yard, laughter spilling like music. Her heart swelled with gratitude, yet questions lingered like shadows. What lay behind this sudden healing? Was it just a fleeting moment of hope, or was there something deeper she needed to discover? Mary ventured to the chapel that morning, her feet leading her to the base of its towering steeple. The familiar scent of aged wood and polished stone welcomed her. Sparing only a moment for her neighbor Martha, who swept the steps with a smile, she hurried inside. Alone beneath the arching beams, she knelt at the altar and poured out her heart in prayer, words tumbling out in a jumbled stream of emotion. "Lord, I stand in awe. Thank you for my son's healing, but why now? What is the purpose behind this act of grace? The silence enveloped her, thick with expectation. And then, as waning light from above danced in golden hues across her hands, a thought pierced through her unrest, striking with a quiet clarity. What if the miracle wasn't just for her son, but for her as well? What if it was a call to deepen her understanding of faith, a divine invitation to step closer to the heart of God? Hours slipped by unnoticed as Mary wrestled with these thoughts. She found herself drawn to the stories of old, the miraculous journeys of the saints. The courage they displayed seemed to transcend time, urging her forward with an encouragement that resonated within her very soul. She remembered one particular tale, the widow's last coin. "See, even a small act can echo in eternity," she murmured, her broken anguish weaving a tapestry of faith through memories of others. Perhaps her journey was about more than her suffering. It was an unveiling, a rediscovery of hope itself. Determined, Mary returned to the village square, where a familiar gathering had formed. Faces bright with anticipation, they were sharing stories, spreading warmth like the sunlight that kissed the earth. Mary approached the group, the spark of resolve lighting her fiery spirit. "Liam has taken his steps," she proclaimed. Their cheers ignited a newfound fervor, waves of jubilation rippling through the crowd. Yet, within her, the urgency surged. But perhaps this isn't the end. We should come together not just in joy, but to unravel the unseen fabric of faith's mystery. A hush fell, curiosity rippling through the crowd. I believe we are to dive deeper, to seek answers beyond our understanding and explore together the revelations hidden in our trials. Excitement mounted in the air, a subtle electric current of divine purpose nudging everyone forward. But Mary could still feel the immense weight of the unknown looming. What truths awaited them if they took this leap of faith together? What divine transformation would emerge from this united exploration? As prayers began to echo once more in the village square, Mary felt a sensation like warmth blooming within. Was this perhaps the moment of understanding inching closer? With hearts entwined and voices united, they petitioned for clarity, challenging each other to embrace the sacred unknown. The question now loomed, swirling like the mist on the horizon: what revelations awaited them when hearts were fully open to the divine? Would they be ready to embrace the supernatural shift that was sure to come next? As the sun climbed higher, bathing Ashford in a gentle light, a sense of anticipation hung in the air. Mary watched as her fellow villagers gathered closer together, their faces alight with expectation. It was more than just chatter. It was a shared heartbeat, a collective yearning for something greater than themselves. What if this healing, my son's miracle, sparks a new journey for all of us? Mary whispered, allowing her heart to embrace the idea. The very thought set her spirit racing. She could feel the unity between them, a thread of hope weaving through the crowd, binding them as one. Martha stepped beside her, eyes bright with fervor. "Do you sense it, Mary? Like a soft breeze carrying whispers from above? What are we to discover together?" Mary nodded, her soul stirred. "I believe we are standing on the threshold of something magnificent. If we lean into the mystery together, we might uncover what lies beyond our understanding." The villagers took seats upon the grassy knoll, an openness inviting contemplation. The rhythm of prayer began anew, voices overlapping like a beautiful tapestry of sound, swirling together in an unseen design. Each uttered word floated skyward, a sincere plea to the divine. Mary closed her eyes, allowing the warmth of their collective energy to wash over her. "Lord, grant us wisdom," she breathed. "Show us your will. Reveal to us the path we are to take." A spark of light flickered through her mind, an image of a seed being buried beneath the earth. From darkness, life emerges. But what must we die to, Lord, for new fruit to be born? She felt a shift inside her, an understanding that awakening could bring to light the dormant potential nestled within them all. Then, a soft voice broke the silence. It was young Thomas, his face a canvas of innocence. "Maybe we're supposed to share our stories. The struggles, the miracles. They might connect us in ways we never imagined." The group turned to him, pondering his words, each face reflecting unspoken thoughts. Mary could see the light glimmer in their eyes as they began to share snippets of their lives, fears laid bare, doubts voiced aloud, and miracles recounted like sacred tales passed along generations. "I once prayed for healing for my grandfather, and he recovered," an elderly woman shared, her eyes sparkling as she drew courage from the memories. A ripple of awe cascaded through the gathering as stories poured forth, weaving a rich palette of experiences that reflected their various encounters with the divine. Mary felt her heart open further, a growing warmth that embraced her, enriching her spirit with every shared experience, planting deeper roots of faith. "Look how God works through us," she encouraged, her voice ringing with passion. "These miracles aren't just personal, they're meant to intertwine, to knit a community filled with faith and gratitude." The atmosphere thickened with a divine energy and electrifying current coursing through the villagers, uniting them in a holy understanding. Mary's eyes filled with tears, not of sorrow, but of a breakthrough. She realized the importance of connection. This healing was beckoning them to share their hearts, to reflect the very love Christ extended to all. But as the gathering continued, a question stirred uneasily within her. What if there were deeper mysteries entwined with their faith? What significant change did this newfound unity foretell? And as the sun began to dip low, casting elongated shadows, an inexplicable longing gripped Mary's heart. Would they dare to delve into the depths of faith's exploration together? Would they embrace the revelations waiting just beyond their reach, beckoning them to step forward into the unknown? With anticipation mingling in her heart, she turned to the crowd, their expectant faces urging her on. "Friends, we stand at a remarkable crossroads. Will we journey deeper into this mystery together?" The collective breath held in silence rippled across the gathering, pregnant with possibility. What divine transformations awaited them if they chose to venture boldly into the unfolding revelation? What wonders would emerge as they united in faith and stepped out to discover God's purpose woven through their lives? A sacred hush enveloped the gathering as Mary awaited a response. The sun dipped lower, casting a golden hue over their faces, illuminating the spark of hope igniting within each heart. It was a moment thick with potential. A collective decision hung in the air, waiting for someone to break the quiet. Then it happened. One by one, villagers nodded, some raising their hands in surrender, others bowing their heads in reverent agreement. "Yes," Thomas exclaimed, his excitement bubbling over. "Let us journey together." Mary's heart soared. Could it be? Were they truly ready to embrace this divine adventure? The urgency of faith pulsed among them, igniting souls like candles catching fire in the stillness. A voice spoke from the back. It was old Sam, a man whose years carried weight but also wisdom. "This is more than just stories, my friends. They are the lifeblood of our faith. Every time we share, every prayer we lift, we invite God into our lives, transforming the mundane into the miraculous." A fervent agreement rippled through the crowd, sweeping across faces stirred by shared belief. New stories began to fill the air, clashing with joy and tearful joy, accounts of turmoil shattered by grace, of dreams awakened by divine intervention. "I was lost in despair, but then the Lord sent me a friend who showed me the light," a young woman exclaimed, her voice imbued with renewed purpose. "Miracles aren't just ancient tales," Mary interjected fiercely. "They are alive and breathing in our very midst." A swell of emotion erupted from the crowd, and hands clasped together, forming a web of strong faith. In that moment, Mary thought of how often God chose the unlikeliest of vessels to showcase His power. She sensed the dawning of a movement, a holy disruption that might reach far beyond their tiny village. "But what comes next?" whispered Martha, her brow creased in thought. "What if we're called to do more than just share? What if we're meant to act?" The silence that followed was pregnant with uncertainty yet colored with courage. The villagers understood the weight of such a question. As hearts aligned, they felt a collective yearning to step beyond mere stories into action guided by faith. "What if we organize gatherings for healing, for prayer?" suggested Thomas, the light in his eyes unquenchable. "A place where all can come broken or whole and experience God's love." Maria, known for her quiet strength, spoke up. "We could reach out to those beyond Ashford. There are souls longing for hope, people drowning in despair, waiting for a glimmer of light. They need our stories. Mary's heart raced at the thought. Each idea passed through the assembly like the gentle stir of the wind, igniting embers of excitement. They realized that their purpose was unfurling beyond the boundaries of their lives, an intricate tapestry leading to a deeper calling. As the sun finally dipped beyond the horizon, painting the sky with strokes of indigo and rose, a whisper of divine expectation lingered in the dusky air. "I sense God asking us to choose faith over fear," Mary proclaimed, her voice steady and filled with conviction. "What if we don't just gather? What if we go and be the miracle in someone else's life?" The collective spirit soared. A pivotal turning point was at hand. Could they be the bearers of light, instruments of hope, traveling beyond comfort into the unknown? In that electric atmosphere, one question stood poised: what incredible shift awaited them as they stepped into their calling? Was this the dawn of a new movement in faith? They stood together, hearts aligned and spirits entwined, prepared to take the leap into a journey that could rewrite their very destinies. Little did they know, the true revelation was just beginning to unfold. As the stars began to twinkle in the indigo sky, their light felt like divine confirmation, guiding the villagers into an unknown territory brimming with promise. Mary's heart raced as she looked around at the eager faces, each one reflecting faith's glow. They were poised on the brink of something magnificent, and a gentle urgency hummed in the air, drawing them closer together. "Let us share our vision," Thomas said, standing taller now. "We need to be clear about what we want to accomplish. Each of us has a part to play." Eager murmurs met his words as hands rose again, reaching for a higher purpose. The gathering began to shape into a collective dream, a vision greater than any one of them had anticipated. "Let us start small," suggested Maria, her voice both soft and strong. "We can host our first prayer meeting right here in this square, the heart of Ashford. It can be a place where healing happens. We'll invite everyone, those seeking light and those already shining bright." A deep sense of belonging washed over the crowd. They had been given a call to action, a chance to be the hands and feet of faith. Old Sam clasped his hands, eyes shimmering. "And let us not forget to pray over our gathering. We need God's presence with us." The villagers nodded in agreement, recognizing the truth in his words. Their unity sang like a heavenly choir, and Mary could feel the Spirit weaving through them like an invisible thread. Each meeting will become a testimony, each heart healed, each life touched, another brick in God's kingdom here on earth. Mary enthused. With each idea shared, the excitement grew. Joyful laughter mingled with the sacred energy surrounding them. Someone suggested painting colorful signs to invite the villagers, while another spoke of bringing food to nourish both the body and soul. They were ignited by a singular purpose: to be vessels of hope. But amidst the enthusiasm, a knot of uncertainty twisted in Mary's stomach. "What if we fail?" she thought, battling the shadows creeping in. "What if no one comes?" Yet, catching a glimpse of courage in Thomas's eyes, she remembered why they gathered in the first place. "Faith is not the absence of doubt," she reminded herself aloud. "It's pressing forward despite it." Gatherings in the village soon transformed into something profound. On the day of their first prayer meeting, the streets buzzed with anticipation. People arrived, friends, families, even those unsure of what to make of the unfolding miracle. And there, beneath the starlit sky, they shared stories of faith and encounters with God. Then something unexpected happened. As prayers were lifted, a deep sense of peace settled among them, and the crowd hushed in reverence. The atmosphere shifted, hearts laid bare, burdens lifted, and God's presence enveloped them. Suddenly, a young boy stepped forward, tears glistening in his eyes. "I want to believe too," he cried out, his voice trembling yet resolute. Mary gasped. That simple declaration pierced the air like a sacred arrow. It marked a divine moment of awakening, but it also left her pondering. The sweetness of this encounter hinted at a far greater calling. What happens when one heart believes? Mary whispered to herself, the weight of expectation stirring within her. Little did they know, this moment was only a prelude to something even more remarkable. What were the miracles that awaited as they stepped deeper into their faith? With renewed excitement swirling among them, they felt the urgency to answer the whispered invitations echoing in their spirits. What groundbreaking shift in their lives loomed on the horizon, waiting to unfold? The day after their first prayer meeting, the spirit of unity still lingered in the air, wrapping around each villager like a warm embrace. Mary awoke, with sunlight spilling into her room. Today felt different. She sensed that they had crossed an invisible threshold, one that linked their hearts to a divine purpose. As she stepped outside, she was greeted by a sight that made her heart swell. The village square, once a simple gathering place, had transformed. Colorful banners flapped joyfully in the breeze, and the scent of freshly baked bread wafted through the air, mingling with whispers of hope. Each detail reflected the commitment to their new journey. "Good morning, Mary," greeted Thomas, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "I can hardly wait to see how many people join us today. I feel we're on the verge of something monumental." Mary smiled, comforted by his enthusiasm, but still, a worry lingered. "What if we don't reach anyone today?" she ventured, her voice barely rising above the festive hum. Thomas rested a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Remember, Mary, each heart we touch brings us a step closer. Even if one soul is inspired, it's worth it." His words ignited a flicker of faith within her. As the sun climbed higher, villagers trickled in, drawn by the colorful decorations and the sound of joyful songs being sung. Faces appeared one by one, some familiar, others new, and in their eyes, Mary recognized a thirst for something beyond themselves. They gathered in a circle, forming a vibrant tapestry of prayer and praise. Sam led their opening prayer, his voice rich with anointed passion. "Lord, we thank you for this moment. May your presence be felt here today, may hearts be healed, and hope be restored." As the prayers flowed around them and the atmosphere thickened with divine anticipation, something remarkable began to unfold. One by one, testimonies emerged, stories of struggles and victories, of wrestles with faith and moments of undeniable grace. Maria shared how she had long struggled with feeling unworthy, but that night beneath the stars had been her awakening, a reminder that she was loved just as she was. Her words pierced the air, igniting a wave of shared vulnerability and miracles. Then, as if stirred by invisible hands, a hush settled over the crowd. A woman, her face etched with lines of sorrow, stood up with trembling hands. "I lost my son 2 years ago, and I've been living in darkness since," she began, her voice cracking. "But today, I'm here to find light. I need to believe again." At that moment, Mary's heart broke open. She realized her fear of failure had obscured the beautiful truth unfolding before her. Here they were, a band of seekers, each carrying burdens, yet each daring to step forward. It became clear faith wasn't just about numbers. It was about connection, the divine thread weaving their stories together. As prayers ascended, a presence enveloped them. Mary felt it wrap around her, a warmth igniting courage. Then, out of the stillness, the young boy from the previous night cried out again, "I want to help them. How can I help?" His innocent sincerity sent ripples of joy through the crowd. Mary and the others exchanged knowing glances, an unspoken agreement forming. The boy's fervor was a reminder that their mission extended beyond their gathering. Their faith was a beacon, inviting everyone, young and old, lost and found. Suddenly, the entire atmosphere shifted. The presence of God was palpable. It danced through the crowd, awakening spirits, bringing forth healing. As Mary looked around, she witnessed the wonder of transformation. What if this is just the beginning? She thought, her heart racing. What greater things awaited as they pressed further into this journey of faith? With eyes wide in wonder, Mary felt a new question bubble to the surface. Could they possibly be a part of an even grander design, one meant to ripple beyond Ashford and into the hearts of many? What unimaginable wonders lay ahead, waiting for them to uncover? As the sun hung high in the sky, casting a warm glow over the village square, the atmosphere buzzed with expectation. The joyful sounds of laughter and the aroma of warm bread mingled into a sweet, divine symphony. It was a day unlike any other, one tethered to a sense of sacred purpose. Mary felt the vibrant energy pulsate around her. With each shared smile and nod among the villagers, the connection deepened. Their stories, woven together through prayer, began to echo in her heart. She closed her eyes briefly, allowing gratitude to spill forth within her, embracing the moment. Let us keep sharing, suggested Thomas, his voice enthusiastic and steady. These stories, they inspire us all. Just then, a young girl with bright eyes, standing at the edge of the circle, stepped forward shyly. I have something to say. Her voice trembled with both fear and hope. The crowd turned, a sea of faces now focused on her, and the girl took a deep breath. I used to be so afraid to speak up. I didn't think anyone would listen. But when I prayed last night, I felt something shift inside me. I heard God say that my words matter. A hush fell over the crowd, every pair of eyes locked onto hers. In this moment, Mary realized that this gathering served not only as a platform for shared pain, but also as a launching pad for newfound courage. Here stood not just a girl, but a beacon of hope. With a newfound confidence, she continued, So I want to tell you that you are all strong even when you feel weak. Excited murmurs spread through the assembly like wildfire. The young girl's statement resonated, awakening deeper truths within their own hearts. A ripple of stories began flowing forth, seamlessly uniting the crowd. Each voice added a layer to the rich tapestry of their journey. Old wounds were laid bare, and through each testimony, the spirit of vulnerability invited healing. I thought I had lost my way for good, came the deep voice of a man in the back. But I realized God had never let go of me. I'm here, standing with you today, and I'm ready to rise again. Each shared experience brought forth waves of support, as people clapped and shouted words of affirmation. Mary could feel the divine presence wrapping tighter around them, a smooth current stirring excitement and faith. As the gathering deepened, the sun began to dip lower, painting the sky in hues of gold and pink. Shadows danced across their faces, but they held tight to each other, hands intertwined, hearts illuminated by the shared light of Christ's love. It was undeniable they were more than just a village. They were a community awakened and transformed. In the midst of this wave of joy, Mary felt a nudge within her heart. What else can we do? She pondered, her thoughts racing ahead. This moment feels electric. Are we capable of creating this same spirit of unity beyond our village? She turned to Thomas, a knowing look passing between them. The excitement simmered in the air as the realization dawned upon them. The call was not simply for their own healing but to extend this vibrant gift to others beyond Ashford. Let us take this to the world, Thomas exclaimed, his voice rising with fervor. What would it look like if we shared our joy? Our faith could light fires of hope everywhere. The crowd erupted in spirited agreement, voices rising in a chorus of possibilities. Each villager felt empowered, each heart ablaze with purpose. Yet a tension hung in the air, like the last note of a symphony waiting for resolution. As Mary looked out over the assembled faces, she felt a stirring of anticipation. There was something more waiting just beyond this moment, something divine. What awaited them as they delved deeper into the unknown? And who else might be transformed by their growing faith? The journey had only just begun. The sun slipped below the horizon, casting a deeper shade of twilight across the village square. Mary could feel the energy shift again, stirring a warm breeze that carried whispers of destiny. The air seemed charged, electric with possibility, making every heartbeat resonate with anticipation. Gathered together, the villagers, still buzzing from their moments of shared vulnerability, exchanged glances of determination. Mary raised her hands, a silent signal for everyone to gather their thoughts and set their hearts in alignment. Let us pray, she spoke, her voice gentle but firm, echoing the spirit of unity they had just discovered. As they bowed their heads, Mary's heart opened wide with joy. She prayed for each villager, asking God to guide their hearts and illuminate their paths. A warmth enveloped her, and she sensed others feeling this divine heat coursing through them as well. It was a glow of promise, a hint of what was to come, and it ignited their souls. I see it, Thomas whispered, barely audible but strong enough to stir a few curious heads. I see a vision. Eyes peeked open, shadows fading as hope rekindled the flickering flames within. He continued, words spilling forth with urgency. We're not meant to keep this light hidden. Our village can be a beacon. We can bring so many with us. His voice swelled, charged with conviction. Mary felt an overwhelming wave of purpose wash over her. Yes. But we must prepare ourselves. What will we say? How do we want to reach out? The questions danced in her mind, each one more pressing than the last. As if answering to her thoughts, a soft voice emerged from the back of the assembly. It was the young girl from before, still bubbling with energy, her eyes shining like stars. Let us share what God has done for us with the world. If He can transform us here, He can transform anyone. Her words acted like kindling, and soon the energy in the square erupted again. Villagers began to stand one by one, sharing snippets of their journeys, the miracles they had experienced: lost jobs restored, broken relationships healed, fears conquered through prayer. Each testimony wove a stronger fabric of faith, and soon the women, men, and children fell into a beautiful rhythm of stories and praises, each voice adding to the symphony of their devotion. Yet, amidst the harmonies, a question loomed in the hearts of many. What lay outside their village? Could their faith truly touch lives beyond Ashford? The atmosphere thickened with a sense of collective longing as they imagined faces from distant lands warmed by their words. Mary felt the weight of their curiosity. "What can we do to spread this?" she asked, her eyes scanning the crowd, yearning for a response. "How do we make our faith a fire that reaches far and wide?" The villagers shrugged, some murmuring softly, while others simply stared into the distance. At that moment, a stranger stepped into the circle, a man, dusty and weary from his travels. He held a sign that read "Welcome." But it was his eyes that held all the stories, plea, and urgency of a lost wanderer seeking hope. Mary's heart quickened as she sensed that this was no coincidence. Who was he, and why had he come at this pivotal moment? Could he be the first of many? The tension in the air thickened, a divine mystery unfolding, and everyone felt it. What if this man was the key to their dream? What if he needed the very hope they had been called to share? As they all stood mesmerized, the man began to speak. His voice was raspy, worn from the journey yet filled with an unexpected vigor. "I have traveled far, through valleys shaded by despair and mountains echoing with joy. I come seeking," he paused, searching their faces, "not just a place to rest, but a message of hope." Mary's heart raced. She could feel the weight of anticipation pressing on her chest. The man continued, his gaze steady. "You gather here, united in spirit, but what you carry is far too precious to stay hidden in these quiet corners of Ashford. The world out there is crying for the light you found." A ripple of recognition swept through the crowd. Every heart in that square began to stir in response to his words. One villager spoke up, "But how can we reach them? Who are we to share anything so grand?" The man stepped closer, the warmth of his presence radiating like sunlight breaking through dark clouds. "That's the beauty of it. It's not about who you are. It's about what has been done in you. Your stories, your light, can break chains and open hearts. Don't you see?" His voice rose, pulsing with urgency. "You've tasted grace, you've seen transformation, let that be the song you sing." Mary felt tears welling up in her eyes. She realized, in that moment, that they had been given not just a vision, but a calling. The burdens they once bore could become the very sources of their strength. Each trial, each victory could inspire others to grasp the love they had discovered. "Tell us about your travels," she urged, leaning closer. The villagers echoed her, eager to soak in the wisdom of this stranger. His tales of hope and redemption resonated with their spirits, illuminating the path forward. He spoke of distant lands, of people who lived in shadow but longed for light. Each place he described echoed with the cries of heartbroken souls searching for solace, reminding the villagers that they were uniquely positioned to show them the way. As the sun descended further, casting a soft, golden glow across the gathering, Mary instinctively raised her hands again, inviting a wave of prayer. "May we become conduits of your love, God. Fill us with courage and conviction." The spirit of unity grew stronger, wrapping around them like a cloak. Each villager felt the current of divine strength flowing through them, awakening a fervor to step beyond the familiar. Then, as if instigated by a celestial whisper, one brave soul shouted, "Let us not just talk. Let us do. We can set out tomorrow." The words ignited sparks of excitement, and others joined in, voices blending into a chorus of resolve. Yet within the collective joy, A shadow danced at the corners of Mary's thoughts. She sensed the looming uncertainty. Could they truly venture beyond Ashford? What trials awaited them outside those beloved, safe borders? The stranger seemed to read her mind. "Doubt not what he has begun in you," he said softly. "He does not send without equipping." With that declaration, every heart believed a little more deeply. As night deepened around them, Mary looked around at the faces illuminated by zeal. There was no turning back now. But just as the gravity of their mission solidified, a flicker of doubt crept into the air. How would they face the challenges ahead? What if they encountered rejection? The stranger smiled knowingly, sensing their worry. In the quiet moments of fear, remember this: hope does not disappoint. And just like that, the first step into the unknown loomed before them. They were ready, yet entirely uncertain of what lay ahead. What revelations awaited them on this journey? Would hope truly shine brighter than the shadows of doubt? The first light of dawn burst over Ashford, illuminating the village in a gentle glow, nurturing an electric anticipation that hummed in the air. Mary gathered the villagers, all teetering on the brink of the unknown. Together, they felt the weight of purpose pressing on their hearts, each beat echoing with the call to rise together in faith. "Today is a day," Mary proclaimed, her voice steady and sure, "when we step beyond what we know. Let us embrace the light that has filled us, share our stories, and be the hands and feet of God's love." Each villager nodded, determination weaving through their souls. Together, they formed a united front, a tapestry of hope, waiting to be unfurled across the world. The stranger, still present, looked upon them, his eyes shining with inspiration. "Let your faith be a river, flowing toward those longing for hope. With every story you share, lives will be transformed." A ripple of courage surged through the crowd. Together, they planned their journey, mapping routes toward neighboring communities, eager to share their miraculous encounters and the grace that had washed over them. The air around them buzzed with laughter and excitement. Hands joined as prayers were offered up in earnest supplication for guidance and protection. "We must be ready to face anything that comes our way," warned old Sam. The village elder's face grew serious as he continued, "But remember, it's our vulnerability that reveals our strength." With hearts aligned, they filled baskets with fresh bread, comforting blankets, and letters handwritten with encouragement. Every item carried their love, their faith, and the miracles that God had wrought among them. As they journeyed beyond the familiar, doubts crept in. Yet, every time uncertain thoughts rose like shadows, they held on to each other, sharing their fears and reminding one another of the miracles they had experienced. The boy who had once stood shyly amongst the crowd now led chants of encouragement, laughter spilling forth like music, dispelling clouds of doubt. With every step, they became aware that they were not alone. The divine presence knotted them together, a warmth spreading through hearts as they began to meet those in need. They shared not only their provisions but the stories that ignited their spirits. Each encounter unveiled another miraculous shift. In a small town filled with brokenness, they found a gathering of weary hearts. They shared Liam's story, the miraculous steps taken amidst prayer. The villagers' unity blossomed into action. Tears flowed and laughter erupted as hope took root in the barren soil of despair. A healing joy enveloped them like an inviting embrace. Mary gripped the stranger's hand tightly, the realization crystal clear. This was their divine purpose: to reach outward, to plant seeds of faith nourished by their own testimonies. As they continued to travel, news of their journey spread like fire across parched land. Villagers flocked in droves to hear about hope, healing, and grace. That night, as they gathered around a small fire, the warmth felt sacred. Mary looked around at the faces illuminated by flickering flames. Each one reflected the light of God. "We are more than conquerors," she whispered, her heart soaring. Amidst laughter, tears, and shared stories, the stranger quietly shared how he had once been lost, but hope was rekindled through their journey. As he spoke, every villager recognized their own journey echoed in his words. It was a beautiful reminder that miracles were contagious. Day after day, they spread joy. Each act of kindness born from the love ignited within them ushered in transformation. Hearts once heavy with burdens were now free, inspired by collective vulnerability. This wasn't just a mission, this was their calling, unveiling the invisible tapestry of God woven throughout their lives. As the journey unfolded, Mary marveled at the connections forged as towns united through shared stories of healing. With every story told, their faith deepened, a community stepping in line with God's purpose, each soul ignited like stars in a night sky. On the final night of their journey, faces radiated hope and trust. Mary raised her hands, a smile breaking through tears of gratitude flooding her heart. "Look what we've built! Look how our stories have transformed lives!" A chorus erupted, shaking the heavens with praises. The villagers, heartened by their experiences, stood poised for what lay ahead. They'd go on to spread love and hope beyond all limits, paving the way for others to find Christ in their stories. And in that moment, every fear and doubt fell away, replaced by the sacred truth of their purpose. "We are called," Mary proclaimed, "to be the light in our world." The echoes of their powerful testimonies resonated, lives intertwining in the rhythm of divine grace. The sun dipped into a vibrant horizon, but what lay ahead was not just an end but a beginning. As they pressed forward, stories shared, hearts healed, and hope unleashed, a new dawn rose over Ashford, forever transformed by their divine journey. And so, as the villagers basked in the glow of discovery, they pledged to continue this Christ-led adventure, for they knew their miracle had just begun. Now is your moment. You need to subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and share this divine content. Comment your reactions and powerful testimonies about this ending, because your voice matters. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of hope and love. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting our mission through these actions. Let us spread this light together.